Hi muckers, before we get into this video, please make sure that you're subscribed. I recently checked, it is now 55% of my audience, which still isn't good, that regularly watched my videos within the past 2 months are not subscribed. Please, spare some subscriptions, please. Please subscribe. Hi muckers, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and welcome back to the part 2 of the Shane Dawson Bunny series, which is Graveyard Girl. You all really enjoyed the first part, which made me so happy because these videos have been similar to what we normally do with like drama coverage and talking about these YouTubers, but this is something that is like almost has like re-inspired me on YouTube, and I think a lot of you are picking up on that in the comment section. What we're doing, if you're not aware, we've done 2 so far. We've done the Shane Dawson Eugenia Cooney series and the Shane Dawson Graveyard Girl episode 1. There's 3 episodes. We're now on episode 2, and what we're doing is I'm re-watching the series and I'm writing my notes on it with an updated point of view, because I think I can speak for a lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us, whenever I say that we all watched the Shane Dawson series in the moment. And I was just very interested to be like, I wonder how different my opinion is now. Number one, after having studied film and like getting a graduate degree in like film, and then number 2, knowing what we know now about Shane, because there's so many like hypocritical points. And the first 2 episodes have definitely shown that already, but we're just going to keep going. So we're now on episode 2. I'm not going to recap, so just because it would take too long, so you can go and watch the part 1 if you want. It'll be my last video. But anyway, this video, which is the part 2 of the Bunny series, is called Exposing a YouTuber. So it starts with a recap of the first episode. So again, I'm not getting into it. You can watch the first video if you want to watch it. If you don't, alright. And then I just also have written down the amount of tea references that Shane Dawson makes is beyond upsetting to me. It is beyond upsetting. The amount of times just randomly he'd be like, tea, 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 oh sip some tea, oh I'm spilling the tea. Ew. The humor is just so bad. And listen, I love everybody, and do not take this in a bad way, because I know whenever I say things along this line, people think I'm being ageist, and I don't mean to come across like that way, because I don't think at all that 30's young. I'm more excited for my 30's than I am for my 20's, because for me, my 20's are gonna be a mess. I'm gonna be figuring shit out. 30's is when I feel like my peak will be. I look around at my cousins who are in their 30's and I'm like, you're in your peak. Shane is in his 30's, so don't take what I'm saying as me being ageist, because I can't wait to be 30, and I don't think 30 is old. But all I'm saying is Shane's humor as a 30-something-year-old man is coming across as a 12-year-old girl. As a 12-year-old girl. And it is beyond cringe, so uncomfortable to watch. He just comes across as like a big baby. And like, not in like a funny way, but in like a try-hard, like, borderline creepy way. Where it's like, you're trying to like cater to kids so much that you're trying to like emulate one. But anyway, that's so unrelated to the video, but I just needed to write that down. Okay, they start off with doing a test of Bunny's channel, so Graveyard Girl's channel, where Shane and Bunny are sitting at the computer while opposite them is Ryland, Morgan, Andrew filming, and Garrett. And they are answering questions. So Shane is basically saying that you're the audience, we're the ones making the video. Bunny, you're gonna see how the audience responds to your videos in real time. So Shane loads up a bunch of her videos, her thumbnails, her titles, and he's asking the gang, the group, if they would click it. And Morgan automatically says that she's quite uncomfortable doing this, and I really do have a soft spot for Morgan whenever I'm rewatching these videos, I'll be honest. And actually, what I do have to say is I really don't like Ryland in general. I really don't like Ryland. There's something about him that just rubs me the wrong way. Very try-hardy, very, like, just cares about wealth, cares about money, superficial, LA, just like Hollywood, not like all of LA. Because again, LA is not just influencers, which I have learned. But in these series, Ryland actually comes across as one of the more enjoyable people in the series, which is something that I think has to do with the fact that this was one of the first that he ever made. I think this actually was the first series he made. He made the video on Eugenia, but this was the first series. And I think because there was no real expectation, I think Ryland is just kind of like being fun and not being over the top. And I think once they knew that it was going to get millions and millions and millions of views, Ryland would then put on a performance. And that's really what, like, turned me off from him. But in these first couple episodes of these series, he's actually quite enjoyable to watch. Ryland is quite enjoyable to watch, and Shane is the insufferable one. Alright, so Morgan again says she's uncomfortable doing this because she doesn't want to be rude to Bunny, and she just thinks it's a very awkward thing to have to do, which it is. You're literally pointing to someone's work and being like, this is shit, buddy, this is why your career's gone, your career's over, lol, 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 lol. Look at me, bitch, I'm doing series, I'm getting millions of views, what are you getting? Nothing. Like, that was what it came across as, and it's very clear that that's what Morgan felt like, and she just didn't want to do it. So Shane does a game called Click or Ignore. And he focuses on a slime video that Bunny has made, and he asks the gang would they click or ignore it, and most of them say that they would ignore it. And Bunny says that she's disappointed that the video didn't do as well as what she thought it was going to do, because she thought that, you know, slime, and it was 2018 at this time, you know, people were loving slime, and ooh, like, colorful thumbnails, titles, keywords. And Shane says that the reason the video didn't do well is because we've seen this type of content, slime. Does this thing really work? We've seen this from Bunny year after year, and people just do not care about it anymore. And I do think that that is a very harsh thing to say, but I do think it's a true thing to say to Bunny, where it's like, you can't expect, like, if you're gonna upload slime videos for 10 years, on the 10th year, why your views have dropped from the first one, because we've seen it, and it's repetitive. So I actually thought that was good advice. I mean, it really wasn't advice. He was just like, people aren't clicking it because we've seen it, so I don't know. So Shane talks about his comparison of that was like doing funny faces on camera, and, you know, like for the thumbnails, like shocked, happy, sad, so that people would click. And he says that people do not care about that. And then he also talks about having yellow backgrounds in his thumbnails, which, if you don't remember, it would literally be like, this would be Shane's thumbnail, and he would be like, that would literally be his thumbnail, where he would have a really bright, that's actually quite clever that I had that right on me, he would have a yellow background, like, just like drawn on with, like, on Photoshop, and then it would be him photoshopped on with whatever he was doing in that moment. And it was very much so like the McDonald's, like, clickbait, where it's like, you know, like the colors that you like, and they're friendly colors. And Shane says that that was why he was doing it, to get clicks, and that's what Bunny is talking about here, where she's using keywords and using bright colors and slime. And there's actually a really funny moment with Morgan where they're all asking them why they wouldn't click the video, and Ryland's like, I've seen it before, Garrett's like, I'm not interested, you know, they all go through their reasons, and then Morgan goes, I just don't like the color green. And it was like a really off the cuff, like, just like breaking the awkward silence of that moment, and I really do like Morgan, I do have to say. So Shane says something that, especially back in 2018, and even now, was just a straight up lie to kind of make him sound better, but he literally says to Bunny that YouTube doesn't push clickbait, which, even if you're not a YouTuber, you know that's not true. So I don't know why he was like lying to her a lot during his advice. It was really, really, really weird. Shane asked Bunny why she hasn't shown her house, and it's like so bizarre, because at this point a black screen comes up and it goes, dropping the persona. So the editing is implying that she is lying about everything. And then Bunny opens up to the gang that she's scared that people will think that she isn't aware of her privilege, and that it will come across like, I have this, and I have that, and I have this, and I'm gloating, and you have nothing, and look what I have, and that's what she thinks it will come across as, which is why she hasn't shown anything. Now, there is a part that they include whenever they originally meet Bunny, and she didn't know they were recording, where the camera's facing the ground, and you hear Bunny say, I don't like showing things because there's an on and off camera me, and people will automatically think that I'm an asshole, while referencing her house and telling them, don't show any of it. But I also don't know what she expected inviting them over to her mansion and being like, don't film anything. Like, you go to Shane then, you know what I mean? Like, you go to Shane's mansion. Weird. So while Bunny is talking about not feeling comfortable showing her house on camera, similar thing than Eugenia, when on the Eugenia video, like, Eugenia would say, these things make me uncomfortable, or hate videos make me uncomfortable, or asking, like, am I healthy makes me uncomfortable, or what food am I eating? And then Shane would cut to a clip of, like, that exact thing. He does it again here, where it's a clip of Bunny being really serious and talking about privilege and not coming from nothing, and how she just never wants to show her house. And of course the editing cuts to like a montage of her house while she's saying this. I know that she agreed to it and in the end, but it just comes across as like really weird and really bad storytelling on Shane's behalf in the editing, whenever he has his subject saying that they don't want something to happen and then the editing shows it. It just ruins the moment. It ruins a nice, like, wholesome, like, talking moment, which is like the point of the series, to like talk, and just kind of skips to the end without even getting to the end. So we already know what's going to happen at the end. Oh, she allows us to show the house. Yeah, because you've spoiled it 3 minutes into the video. So his filmmaking is really, really, really awful. So I'm hoping the more series as we get in, I'm giving a little bit of leeway, because this was the first one. Second one with Eugenia, but really the first one. Whenever they go on, they better get fucking better with the editing. So Bunny opens up about doing all of this herself and not coming from money, and she says that the moment I think that I'm going to enjoy something, it'll die and it'll leave me. Which is really sad to hear. And so Garth says that Bunny should be showing her wealth to her audience because she's a role model. That these people can then, you know, be like, she came from nothing and look what she's achieved. I came from nothing, I am nothing in this moment, that's how I feel about myself, that's how low I feel about myself, look where I can get myself. And I thought that that was a really beautiful, great, like, genuine moment from Garrett. And he also says, girls who are weird in this world can do shit, and you're showing that, and you should be showing that. And I completely agree with him, and I thought that was a great moment from Garrett. So then Shane talks about his mom working a lot and him coming from nothing, and he discusses his mansion and that if he wants something, he can just go and buy it. And it's not him bragging, it's him showing that he's worked hard. And he's basically saying all this to be like, Bunny, start showing your shit. Morgan opens up about how Bunny has then inspired her to start working more because she's like, I've now seen when walking into your mansion what is possible from coming from nothing. And then it cuts to Ryland and Morgan talking about the fact that they came from nothing as well, and it was just kind of like this moment of like, Bunny, you're inspiring us all, and this is what, sorry, burping. Sorry. Bunny, this is what you could be doing to your audience. So then Shane says that Bunny needs to start incorporating her life, which is her living space and success, into her videos, because he noticed that she only ever films her videos in a specific room or a specific corner. And then she talks about the fact that, yeah, well, upstairs is the only place I've ever shown in my videos, and furthermore, I've only ever shown, like, one room. And that's crazy whenever we're seeing, like, this huge mansion with this huge pool and this huge garden and this huge, all these different things. And she's like, I've only ever shown my audience, like, that's like my equivalent of, like, if I was living in a mansion and this is all you've seen. Like, it's crazy to think about. And we're gonna get to this later on, but it kind of poses the question of, like, is Bunny wrong or good for doing that? Like, this isn't like just, like, hiding the truth. This is lying. Like, she's literally lying about her life on camera. And again, Emma Chamberlain went through this thing where people were like, you're, you know, not telling us the truth about your life. You know, you're vlogging on your boring days, but we already know that you're going to fashion shows and traveling the world because you show us it on your social medias as well. Bunny's not showing any of the traveling and all the expensive things that Emma does do. She's just showing the, not even the boring life. She's literally created a extremely dull persona to fake it on camera. I don't know, I think with the Emma case, and this is me being biased, I know, I don't see anything wrong with Emma not telling the full truth in her videos, but I do see a problem, I have to say it, with someone completely just lying about their life. Like, you're lying about your life and pretending that you're not privileged, and you can be privileged and you can have all this money and wealth, you can be proud of it and you can show it in a respectful way, but to, like, completely, like, just try to relate with your audience who are probably struggling to be like, I'm struggling too, and I'm not talking mental health, I'm talking about, like, I have no money. It just kind of rubs me the wrong way, honestly. So Bunny opens up about having a convertible and how much she loves it, and then Shane calls her out for lying again, where in her videos, she films a lot of her videos either in the corner of the room or in a rundown Jeep. And it cuts to, I've never seen Graveyard Girls videos, but it cuts to Graveyard Girls content where she's filming inside this Jeep that is, like, falling apart. Like, you would think this girl has nothing, and she only ever films in that, and Shane's calling her out for that, and we end up finding out that she has, like, a convertible, a Tesla, another car, another car, another car, and there's a moment where she's like, oh, like, showing off all her big cars and stuff, really expensive, and then she's like, oh, if we go out here, it's the vlog car. Sorry, I'm skipping ahead in my notes, but it's just like, the vlog car's out here, and Shane's like, what? And she's like, oh, this is what I'll only ever show my audience. You're straight up lying at that point. I don't know, it's very weird. You're lying about having no money, which then makes you more money off the back of your audience thinking you have nothing. There's something about it that rubs me the wrong way. I understand her reasoning. I just don't appreciate it. I don't know. So then it turns into a big editing portion of the video where they're, like, doing a montage of her closet and all of her rooms and all of her stuff. And then there's an ironic moment where Bunny opens like a secret door and it opens this big beauty room with these big beauty mirrors and stuff, and she goes to Shane, do you want to be a pretend beauty guru? Like, keep in mind this was 2018 before any of the Jeffree things. I just thought that was really ironic, her being like, do you want to be a pretend beauty guru? Because Bunny babe, that's what he did a year later. Ironic. So yeah, I've written down in my notes, at what stage is she just lying to her audience? I don't know if her faking it on screen is good or bad. She also has a huge arcade, very much so giving Jeffree Star Mansion. She has a Tesla, and they all get in the car and they go for a ride. And I say, edit. This is unrelated to the video, but it's weird to me that Shane and Ryland are dating, but a man that Shane was also romantic with, which is Garrett, is in their friend group. I don't really feel the need to elaborate on that further, but just watching this, like, Garrett and Shane definitely, like, flirt a lot on camera, and Ryland's just there, and to know that Shane and Garrett at one time were romantic, it's just kind of, like, it's very weird to me, honestly. Like, I could never. I literally could never. I could never. I'm too jealous. I put my hand up. I'm too jealous. Sorry, shit me. I'm too jealous when it comes to relationships. That's why I'm never in one. You realize this? I will never allow myself to get in a relationship because I will turn into the most deranged person ever. So we're staying single. So this is like weird to me. So it cuts to the group out for dinner, and of course Shane is very drunk. And there's also a really funny moment at the end of the video where Garrett steals Morgan's ice cream by accident, and he actually catches it in her hand, and she's like laughing, she almost like pisses herself. So then Morgan hits his ice cream onto the floor, it falls in the dirt, this part's disgusting, and he literally picks it up off the floor and just starts eating it. Nasty. Alright, okay, so this is the last section of the video. This is a lot of reading. Back to Bunny's garden night, and they're talking about an old vintage antique store, which is going to be the finale in which they go to it, and the entire purpose of this. The shop is known for having really old stuff, and Bunny has had a bad experience with buying a haunted doll in there. She says that she loves the paranormal, but at the same time those things terrify her, and she doesn't want to invite that energy into her life anymore. She bought the doll, and it was the size of an actual toddler. They do show it in the video. I'm not showing you it because it's fucking terrifying. She said she thought it would be good for the background of her videos, kind of like a Garfield. I go, weird by the way, but go off, queen. It was made out of cloth, but to be realistic, to look like an actual person. She says that she loved how hunched over the doll was, very weird, and she feels that she was drawn to the things that maybe she shouldn't buy. So when she brought it home, she named it Robertina after telling a story about a haunted doll called Robert, who would literally like tear up people's homes and like cause them like nightmares and make them go like deranged and stuff. She says that a leaf fell into her car the day that she brought him home, which like left a little piece of her car hood open, ended up flooding her entire car while he was like in it, flooded it. The alarm was going off non-stop, they couldn't stop it. The alarms on her property were going off, and anytime that she would go for like a drink in the middle of the night, whenever she brought the doll in, the room would be completely cold, and I have had similar experiences with that kind of stuff, so I do not fuck with that. I normally have it with like spirits and stuff, so I'm not gonna, let's not go there. So, she put it in storage, because she was like, I need to treat it with respect, I don't want it to get any angrier, and she mailed it back to the shop, and the museum then ended up taking it from the shop. And then the end of the video was saying that they'll see each other tomorrow when they go to the shop. So, that is the end of part 2, and part 3 is them going to the antique shops, and part 3 is the most dramatic part yet. There is fights, there is tantrums, there is Garrett and Bunny arguing, there is Bunny crying, there is Shane getting angry at Garrett, there's Shane and Garrett trying to freak out Bunny. So much. So much. Let me know what your opinion is of part 2. I love you very, very, very much. Stay gorgeous, stay safe. Me and Garfield, not Garrett. We'll see you in the next one. We love you, and bye. Mwah.